Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 16 appears to be feature complete. We'll have that Apple event soon with the iPhone 14 and maybe even a 14 mini. We'll talk more about that later. We're expecting iPads Pro and more. This is your news update for the week of August 22nd, 2022. And Apple released a new update to Boot Camp today to version 6.1.16. If you have an Intel-based Mac, you can run Boot Camp and then run Windows or other operating systems. And today's update adds Wi-Fi WPA3 support and also fixes a Bluetooth driver issue, where sometimes it was a problem when resuming from sleeper hibernation. So that's something that they've released today. Also, if you're trying to get your hands on a Mac Studio, the delay is still there for up to 10 weeks. And depending on your configuration, if maybe you want the M1 Ultra, if you scroll down, you'll see it's ordered today and it delivers October 12th to the 26th. Or you can pick it up in store on October 27th. So that's quite a ways away. And unfortunately, it seems that it's not going to be in stock anytime soon. Apparently those chips are taking a while to make, or it's just in heavy demand. So unfortunately, we don't see that yet. Maybe we'll see that time speed up as we get closer and closer to the Apple events. If you have an iPhone 12 and maybe you have some sound issues in the earpiece, it will be repairable under warranty now for up to 3 years. Prior to this, they had a repair program and it was repairable up to 2 years. They've now extended that to 3 years. So I'll leave a link to this in the description, but you can see it says iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro service program for no sound issue. So if you have those devices and having that issue, make sure to bring it in and have them take care of it for you. Apple this past week celebrated 20 years of Shazam with a new playlist featuring every year's most Shazam song. So 20 different songs. You can see that if you search for 20 years of Shazam hits on Apple Music. You'll see it here from Rolling in the Deep to Shape of You, Crazy, and much more. So that's available if you want to check it out. Since Apple purchased them a while ago, they had this available. Apple today is also celebrating 106 years of the National Park Service in the USA. Starting today and ending August 28th, Apple will donate $10 for every purchase made on Apple.com, the Apple Store, or the Apple Store app. They're sending out emails about it, and also they've updated maps with guides about the national parks. So discover America's national parks. You can see a bunch of them here, and they're also updating podcasts with more information about it as well. If you're into fitness and you're using your Apple Watch, you can also earn some new badges for this as well, where the National Parks Apple Watch Activity Challenge starts on August 27th. You can earn a National Parks badge for completing a workout of a mile with a walk, run, hike, or in a wheelchair. So those will be available. You'll have new badges as well, as you can see here. So you also have some things within workouts to go along with it, such as time to run and also time to run from Grand Canyon and Yosemite National Park. Apple's self-service repair program that launched a few months back is now being updated today with MacBook Air and MacBook Pro parts. Now, I don't see it showing up just yet, but under selfservicerepair.com, typically you would start your order, select your device, and then select the parts that you need. So it really depends on what you need, but you should be able to get parts for MacBook Air and MacBook Pro very, very soon if you want to repair this yourself. You can see manuals and more, such as Apple repair manuals. Take a look at those, see more about iPhones or whatever you're repairing, and then order those parts as necessary. So it's great that they actually delivered. I'm not sure what parts will be available yet, as you can't fix a whole lot on a MacBook Air's board, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, last week, many people were concerned about a security flaw in iOS with iOS 15.6 and earlier, where it could have been exploited and people could gain full control of your iOS device. Apple patched that with iOS 15.6.1 and iPadOS 15.6.1. So if you were wondering if you should update to this version and you're not on iOS 16, I would highly recommend it. As far as iOS 16, we don't know if Beta 6 actually includes this along with Public Beta 4. However, I would expect Beta 7 to include these updates if it doesn't already. So Apple hasn't made an official statement about that. Hopefully it includes those. But either way, definitely install this. It's just a security patch. I wouldn't expect any performance difference or anything else. But for those of you asking, definitely update to that version. Now, speaking of security, iPhones still have a VPN security flaw according to different researchers and other VPN providers. Typically, when you activate a VPN or virtual private network on a device, it shuts down all connections and then reroutes them through the VPN. According to a security researcher named Michael Horowitz, this is not happening completely. Apple has said that it fixed it in 2019, but the researcher says that there are still some unsecured connections taking place outside of the VPN that were not shut down. So that's something that hopefully they'll patch, although they did say that The developer needs to patch it on their side, enable a couple things in the code, and then it will take care of it. So we'll see how this plays out. I just want my device to be secure, so hopefully it takes care of that if you're using a VPN very, very soon. And also, Apple may be adding ads to Apple Maps as soon as next year, according to Mark Gurman. We've heard about this before. Apple already has ads in the Apple Store. Sometimes when you go into different things, you'll see one here. School of Dragons is the ad. We'll start to see those throughout our searches and more. And apparently they're going to add similar types of ads throughout Maps. So when you're searching for something, maybe a nearby restaurant, it will give an ad if someone's paid for that ad. It will not prevent typical banner ads though. So I'm curious what you think of this. This isn't something we typically see with Apple, but it looks like we're going to be seeing it more and more, and maybe in additional apps in the future. So I don't know if I'm crazy about it. This isn't very intrusive in the App Store. I've never really noticed it too much. So maybe we'll see less of that in the future, but also the Today View in the App Store is supposed to gain ads as well soon if it hasn't already. So we'll see more and more of that throughout iOS. So let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Now, when it comes to USB-C on iPhones, many people have said they want USB-C, some people prefer Lightning, but either way, it looks like the European Union and the United States are trying to force it. India is next in this list of nations trying to consider forcing Apple to include USB-C. Now, it looks like it's just going to happen naturally anyway. It's already on the iPad, it's already on the Macs, and really the iPhone is the only thing left. So it makes sense that we would see this fairly soon anyway. Whether it be iPhone 14 or 15, though, is hard to say. But either way, I would definitely think that we're going to see it before they have a chance to enable those as laws anyway. Now, last week, many people also asked me about watchOS 8.7.1. watchOS 8.7.1 is only available to Series 3 Apple Watches. So when we talk about that vulnerability I mentioned earlier, it's only available to Series 3 Apple Watches, and it fixes a different issue. For now, it's not available on this Series 7 or any of the others. So just keep that in mind. If you were still looking for that, that's why you haven't seen it. Now, iOS 16 is apparently finished according to Mark Gurman, meaning developers have finished making all of the features, our lock screen features and more are complete, and now is the time for them to fix bugs and more, so we should see maybe another beta or two and then a release candidate. So usually it means that basically it's feature complete and they're focusing on stability, bugs, and battery life. So that's a good thing. Now everything's set and hopefully it becomes much more stable. So with that, I would expect iOS 16 Beta 7 either later today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. Typically, we've been having them on Monday. However, this week it's not been that way so far. So Tuesday or Wednesday seems typical, although if it's going to be a release candidate, it could be toward the end of the week. Usually, though, we'll have another beta. It'd be very rare to only have 6 betas and then a release candidate. But that could make sense if Apple is getting ready to get to the September iPhone 14 event, as many are saying to expect it on September 7th. Mark Gurman himself has said this, and others. Many thought it would be on the 6th, but it turns out it looks like it's going to be the 7th. This makes sense in that the 5th is Labor Day, the 6th gives them a day to get ready at the Apple Park campus, and then they would have it on the 7th. It also gives people time to travel if they're being invited in person this time around. So I would expect invites for that maybe as soon as later this week or early next week. Either way, that seems to make sense if we're going to see an Apple event then. And with that Apple event, of course, we're going to expect not only the announcement of iPhone 14s, but also the announcement of iOS 16 and its release date. iPadOS 16 and macOS Ventura are expected in October at a separate event. So that looks like what we're going to get this time around. So we can expect 2 events, maybe even 3 if they show off a Mac Pro in a different event, but it looks like at least 2 events again this year like they have every year. Now, with the iPhone 14, a recent report from a reliable leaker, Evan Bliss, is saying to expect an iPhone 14 mini and a 10.2-inch iPad. No one else has talked about this, and many people would love to have the mini continue, but many have said that it's not going to. In fact, I've shown the different lineup this year. Now, with the 4 models that I have, these have been accurate every single year, so if they're not this year, it would be very unlikely. Typically, these go out to case manufacturers so they can get their cases ready, and this would would be the size of the Pro, which is normal, the regular, Pro Max, Pro, and then the Plus in regular size. It looks like they're doing away with the Mini, but there is one person that's been reliable in the past talking about iPhone 12, iPad Air 4, and HomePod Mini before. So he's right. Could be a big surprise for us, but either way, we'll have to wait and see. Many suspect it would just be a plus size iPhone 14 and then a Pro and Pro Max for the larger ones. Now, as far as the color of iPhone 14 and 14 Pro Max, last year we had the Sierra Blue, before that the Pacific Blue. Many people are saying purple this time around. However, they were wrong last year, as many people suspected we would have an orange color. So we'll have to wait and see, although I would expect something different. And then also, Majin Buu on Twitter has leaked what the cases look like for iPhone 14. Now, whether or not these are genuine is hard to say, but there's a bunch of different colors that should be launching with the availability of iPhone 14 in yellow, red, navy blue, purple, mint, pink, midnight blue, and black. So it looks like that's going to be the regular colors. That makes sense. It's kind of what we have every year anyway, but we'll have to see if that's the initial colors and if they match up to what Apple actually releases, or these are just sort of third party. Now, we are expecting updated iPads. Now, this is the iPad Air 5th generation, and we're expecting the updated iPad regular version to have sort of the same layout. Recent rumors indicate that it would have the same sort of power button at the top, which makes sense. They wouldn't have to change the design much, but also that it would have a landscape camera. So whether or not that would be at the top or the side is hard to say. So there's very mixed rumors about the upcoming iPad, which is good in some ways, as it will be a bit of a surprise, but most people say to expect the same design as the iPad Air. So whether or not you would want an iPad Air to be in between that and a Pro is something that I don't see the need for. Maybe just get rid of the Air and switch to the 11-inch Pro. But again, Apple has changed this many times in the past, so we'll have to wait and see. Also, we're expecting iPads Pro, a 12.9 and 11-inch version with maybe some additional connectors on the back. I've talked about this before. Currently, we have some pogo pins on the back, 3 of them. It looks like it may be switching to 4, and then also 4 on the side. We've seen that in prototype models before, and it just was never released. So it seems like it's something they could do. It also, of course, could give us extra functionality, and of course, we'll need to buy different cases if that's the case. But either way, hopefully there'll be backward compatibility there. But we should expect those very soon, along with those iPhones and more. Also, we're expecting Apple to begin production on the 16-inch and 14-inch MacBook Pro updates with M2 chips in them. The M2 Pro, the M2 Max is said to begin the end of this year with a 3nm variant. So that's something we could see, along with maybe a Mac Pro that they're supposed to show. Those are all upcoming products. So we just got the M2. We haven't seen the Pro or Max or Ultra variant yet, so that could be something very soon as well. Apple is also apparently working on shifting some production of Macs to Vietnam. They've done that with previous products. Now it looks like they're trying to shift more production there to differentiate the sort of supply chain overall. So that makes sense. And of course, I think we'll see additional things, and it's rumored to be that HomePod will be moving there next also, as some iPads are already assembled there. So I think we'll see a lot more changes in the next year or so with the overall supply chain, hopefully less wait times, and much more. Now, also every week I've mentioned deals, and the AirPods Pro seem to be on continuous discount from Apple if you buy them through Amazon, but from the Apple Store. So they're sold directly by Apple. However, we do expect an updated version of these. So I don't know that I'd run out and buy them unless you really need an extra pair or something like that, but they are significantly discounted. I'll link those in the description. They're affiliate links, so I will get a little bit of money for that. If you want to just search for them on Amazon, you can do that and bypass that altogether. But either way, I'll link that in the description below with the recent deals as well. And so, of course, we're also expecting an Apple Watch Series 8, Series 8 Pro, and we'll just have to wait and see if Apple sends out those updates very soon. Of course, if you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.